Hi guys, this is Günther filling a yarn again here live Sunday 12 o'clock in front of the OSZE, the organization which still has Russia as a member and Kosovo not. It's my not so silent protest against this policy, because the world is definitely in full turmoil and the OSZE is hibernating, as Russia, the enemy, still inside and Kosovo not. And here in front of this famous Austrian building, the place of the heroes, the Iranians, today it's of course the Iranians, have already assembled to discuss and protest for freedom. And their call is of course heard by the forces of America and Israel and the UK. And we as Europeans should also support them fully. This is absolutely our moral obligation, support the Iranians and their freedom, and this is what I'm calling here. The rumors are the strike is coming imminently today, on the 8th of February 2026. America is entering the war on the side of freedom against tyranny and is then executing a big strike against the Iranian tyranny, which has killed already over 100,000 people in this year. And I'm absolutely endorsing this strike, and I'm absolutely calling for that strike. And if Trump, who had a really very bad start of the year, wants to stay president, he better do it. Because when you look at his performance, Epstein, ICE, this Gabbard scandal, and the protectionist disaster, the economic decline, you have only disasters and scandals in the period of his first 6 weeks of this year, and he better do something useful with being president, or he will not be president for very long. I dare to predict, because his fall seems to be as very much imminent. So he better do the things right. Yeah, I'm not talking about the Bosnian election today, guys, because it's the election day, and I promise to behave on TikTok. But you know what I want, and I was all over the media spoiling Dodik's America visit, and I'm very happy about it, because the future is very clear. Bosnia must be in NATO, Kosovo must be in NATO, and of course Kosovo, you know, some fools give me some, Kosovo is the heart of Europe and Serbia will be isolated. Can you repeat it? It's very clear. You repeat, Kosovo is the heart of Europe, Serbia must be isolated. Good. I will do this exactly as we say, and I think in my opinions, I'm now investing 5 years of my life into this public efforts, actually 35 years, but intensively on social media. And I have to say, all my predictions have come true. Of course, you know, some in the politics have been, it was a big pity that Trump was elected. I still to this day do not understand why Biden didn't release the Epstein files and destroy Trump, because what is in there is absolutely destructive for Trump. And you see, this scandal is of course a scandal of the MAGA and Trump, and it's a scandal of the European socialists. You see it from Norway to Slovakia, and there's much more coming. The socialists in Europe and their complicity with Putin are disgraced forever by Epstein, and so is MAGA, which is a spent force. And it's absolutely a spent force. And this is the reality, guys. So if you have some questions, my producer Nicole also tells me I should answer some questions. I'm absolutely ready to answer questions if you have them. And I'm also doing more lives now. But my videos are the most important output, and my X account. If you can follow me on the X with the about 143,000 people, that's very, very much appreciated, because in today's time, this is of course the #1 tool of communication, and I'm very, very happy if you can do that. Hello from Ukraine. I see some friends of Ukraine. You are my real heroes. Like the Albanians, the Ukrainians are in the defense of freedom. You are the front line of freedom. And we have failed the Albanians for a long time, but we came to help them. And we failed the Ukrainians for a long time, And also the Kurds, we failed you, and I apologize for all the failures. But you know, we always come. Justice comes. We came against the Serbs, and we came very hard. And we saved the Bosnians, we saved the Albanians, we will save the Ukrainians, and we will save the Kurds, and we will save the Iranians. It always takes too long for democracies to mobilize, but once they are mobilized, they are unbeatable and unbreakable. And yeah, you don't believe me? Hitler also didn't believe her. And he had to kill himself at the end when the Americans and the Soviets defeated him. The Soviets, by the way, with American technology, money and material support. Let's not forget that. Yeah, that's, I think, the situation here. We can make it very clear. This day will hopefully bring a decision. And the demonstration I will show you a bit later is in the beginning, 12 o'clock. Everybody is assembling. And I'm also happy to come to Australia. Thanks for the invitation. But it's more important that Australia comes to the European Union. We conclude a free trade agreement. And I think I'm very clear on that. Australia is also welcome in the European Union, together with New Zealand, Canada. Let's not be bound by geography. It's a concept of values. And the students of Linz have called me. Very good. Hello Linz, my hometown. I love you. It's a very nice town. And it is where I was born. The request for fire rises. It's always very good, you know. I'm very happy if you send me, and we can play along in one of the weekends in the future. But I tend to play with Hansen and my Admiral Otto, because they're cool guys and they know the game a bit better than me. Actually, I don't know it very well, to be honest. Fire rises, of course I'm in favor of fire rises as a political concept, and it had led also to the Chinese communists, who are also my enemy, to imprison the programmers of fire rises in China. This is extremely sad story, and you see how bad that is. The Chinese communists are also enemies. We have to make the list very clear. Russia must be axed, China must be axed. Iran is an enemy. I promise to refrain from axing, but nevertheless, let's see how it will develops, because I'm also for freedom of the Kurds, no doubt. Freedom is indivisible, freedom is universal, and freedom is for all people in the world. The left is always accusing me of being a kind of imperialist, yeah? A value imperialist. How ridiculous that is. You know, I say freedom is universal, human rights is universal, property rights is universal, and the freedom of the individual to aspire up to his dreams and capacities is universal. So, this is my philosophy. I say this is true for the Chinese, for the Russians, for the Iranians, for the North Koreans, and for the Nicaraguans, and for the Cubans. And of course, I say very clearly that Cuba must be liberated, that Venezuela will be free, that Russia will be free, and of course much better to be axed. And many of them will come to the successor here. That's very good. You are very welcome, the successor states of Russia, to join OSCE. But Russia itself, as a genocidal maniac state, definitely not. So I'm here and I'm happy for the Iranians, of course, after one about the estimations go internally over 100,000 already killed by Khamenei and his revolutionary guard. They have declared now us as Europeans as enemies. Let's taste that. The Europeans have been always appeasers, especially in Austria, where still the other terrible international organization, okay, OSCE is not terrible, it's just that they still have this appeasement philosophy of Russia in, Kosovo out. But what we need is, of course, to have the OPEC gone. OPEC is the reason why there is so heavy money laundering and so-called investment in Austria, via Austria, from the Iranian regime. And of course, OPEC must go. It's one of the hostile seven. It's an evil organization. I made the list already. I think you saw the graph, but I'm always happy to repeat. I'm calling for the OPEC, the CIS, not CIS, somebody misunderstood that. I'm calling, of course, for the Commonwealth of Independent Nations, the ex-Soviet Union, to be dismantled and destroyed, this organization. Of course, also for the Putin's kind of anti-NATO CSTO, and of course the anti-EU, EIU, and all these organizations must be dismantled, like G20, Obama's appeasement body, and of course also the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Yes, so many questions, guys. I was making a YouTube in live and not many people have followed, so I will do some lives here and I will broadcast my podcasts live on YouTube. But I'm absolutely in my heart Albanian, you can believe me, and I'm also with the Kurds and with the Iranians. I'm generally with people who are suppressed and who are the victims of Russian genocidal maniacism and their allies, like the Islamic terror regimes, which is an ally and therefore an enemy. It's always a bit complicated because I regard Iran as an enemy state, and it is. Yeah? And I hope for massive bombing campaign by Israel and by America, and we should also actually join. But so that's of course very difficult when I go to Iranian demonstration, and I'm also for the, because it's ultimately an enemy state. We have to be very clear. But I call, of course, for the freedom of the Iranians. So these people here, they are for the Shah. That's why I support them. Yeah, they are for the freedom of the Iranians. They promised me that Iran will be free and it will be part of the free world. And they will do a market economy. They will do democracy in Iran. They will do federalism. This is the promises they have made to me. And so that's why I am endorsing Javid Shah and freedom for the Iranians. Yeah. And this is what I'm doing. No, I'm not for the Basque country. Yeah? I'm actually for a region. Yeah? I'm for federal Spain. That's my position for many, many years. And thanks a lot for the compliments. No, Transnistria, I will support Moldovan unity. Yes. So many questions here on this Sunday morning. Yes, this is me here at more and more people assembly. The demonstrations of the Iranian community and the Austrian supporters are normally very big, but there were a lot of them now also, and today of course should be the decision day. Maybe next week, who knows what Trump really decides and Netanyahu. But it shows again that we as Europeans, we are really not capable to project power, to liberate people, and that must change. We must be able to project power, we must be able to regime change countries, we must be able to fight for freedom, because if not, we are the victims and our friends will be taken over and destroyed by our enemies. So that's very logical for me. That's why I support that so clearly and so openly, and we must have the protection power, the military power to defend our values globally. That's why we need aircraft carriers, we need 50 member states, we need Euro bonds, we need a common military, we need the EU to join NATO, we need, of course, that all the countries in Europe join NATO, like Austria. I made that quite clear, I think. Did I make it clear? Anybody understood me? Misunderstand? Suleiman. What is Suleiman? I don't know what that is, I really have not so much idea. Thanks a lot, but I don't know what is co-hosting, yeah? Should I do that? I really have to learn all these things much better, because I'm an economist development consultant, not a pro on social media, but I'm learning. Over there, my Albanian friends, because there's a lot of Albanians here, over there is Skanderbeg, yeah? There's the sword and the helmet, and here in the Weltmuseum, and I'm always calling for the return of Skanderbeg, helmet and sword, towards a museum of Austrian-Albanian friendship. Yeah? This is a very good idea, maybe in Durrës, maybe in Gruja, and the helmet is returning, and you explain your history a little bit better to the Albanians, and to the visitors, because the problem is that it's not some fake history, but a real history that Austria supported Albania, and it was the Serbs who killed Franz Ferdinand, and that led to the First World War because of the independence of Albania and the mobilization of 1913. Everybody knows, but some people don't know the history so well, so we have this history. That's why I always have this Albanian visibles here. I actually have also Günther Fellinger shop, you know that? Maybe to talk about that, you cannot buy that in Fellinger shop, that's a bit of a problem. It should be also possible in the future, but I have about 20 products already for ex-Russia and for ex-Nigeria and ex-India. Maybe I will take ex-India now off if the Indians are working with us now and we have broken bricks, because that's my philosophy and my objective, to break bricks and to break the hostile organizations. That's what I'm doing here, and so I'm happy. I wonder if I will be heckled again like the last time. I'm happy for that. I'm peaceful activist, but I'm for all people to be free, and I'm against centralism. I'm for federalism, and I'm for universal freedom of all people in the world, and for Albania in the EU, for Kosovo in the EU, for Serbia to be isolated, for Austria to join NATO, for Moldova to be united, Cyprus to be united in NATO, for Israel to be in NATO, united, federal, and of course I'm against socialism and against MAGA. MAGA is now dead actually, and MAGA is very deeply involved in the scandal of pedophilia in America with Epstein, and I see no future for MAGA. I never liked it. I never liked Trump. He has now one chance to redeem himself with doing something good militarily, but overall MAGA is for me completely finished. It was always finished. I never liked it. I'm a serious conservative, Christian Democrat, liberal, center right-wing philosopher, thinker, chairman of Europeans for Tax Reform, of the Austrian Committee of NATO. These are the things which I believe in. Serious, conservative, pro-European, libertarian, liberal politics, and not this Russian-funded MAGA nationalist. I'm on the line of George Bush. That's good politician. His father, very good. I like John McCain. I met him once, I shook his hand. I don't have a photo to prove it, but I was at the Young Americas Foundation. And what you're asking me, some kind of confused questions? Bosnia, yes, Bosnia will be in NATO and EU. And we will cancel all neutrality. Vladimir Putin is entered? Guys, that's funny. Guys, this is my Sunday. I spend it here with the Iranians. I call for freedom for the Iranians, for American military intervention, for a transformation of Iran into a free federal Iran, part of the free world, for Iran leaving OPEC and leaving BRICS and joining as a global partner to NATO and to be part of the free world. And we must achieve that with military means. And now we lost 2 weeks already because of Trump's indecisiveness and waiting, and now the Chinese and the Russians have brought significant more military into the Iran, and now more American and Israeli soldiers will die because of Trump's differing. That's very regretfully, but it's his fault. And when the Israelis now attack and the Iranis counterattack, then America has anyhow to enter that war. And basically it's the Pearl Harbor moment of the world. I've predicted that already a long time, a moment when America is entering the big war which Russia and Iran is waging against our allies Ukraine and Israel since at least 2014 and 2022 obviously, and 2023 against Israel. They are the enemies, we are the good guys. America was in a shamefully aside because Putin neutralized Trump and America with the help of the pedo scandals and many other things. And now we are here united together, and you see Austrian flags, Israeli flags, European flags will come, and the flags here, American flag I see, very good. And this is the situation here, that No, because people ask me about Syria, I'm very much for ex-Syria. Ex-Syria means freedom for Rojava and for the Druze and for the Alevites, and to have 4 new countries instead of Syria. This is where I am. I cannot be more visible. If you see, this is the Heldenplatz. This is the very center of Vienna. I want you also to come to Vienna. I'm also promoting Austrian tourism. This is our presidential palace. Mr. van der Bellen is sitting. This is the Prime Minister's office here. You can see it. This is the Erzherzog Karl, Charles. He was not really defeating Napoleon, but something close. He was at least not defeated by him. He had to withdraw, and they didn't allow him to run the imperial army again. But he was a very good field marshal. And the other one here is, of course, our most famous Austrian here. You see, the one liberator of Belgrade, and it's Prince Eugenius, who drove back the Turks and made them into signing a peace treaty, which was very advantageous for Austrian-Hungary monarchy, at that time the Habsburg monarchy. And of course it was the Peace of Karlowitz in 1699, and he was the greatest military leader of Austria in this generation, and possible ever. This is our place of heroes. It's no longer so cold, so outdoor podcasting is easier. Come to Vienna, it's a great city, and we live from tourism. We need tourism. If anybody complains about over-tourism, he's in the wrong feed, because I love tourism. Tourism is great. It's an expression of freedom, of regional prosperity, and that's very important to have tourism. And I will visit Iran after liberation. I will make my trophy around my victory lap. I will also go to Crimea once it's free, and it will be. You will be surprised how fast things can go when freedom is winning and when America is back in the war. Yes, this is now a lot of police and a lot of organizing committees here and a lot of the protesters here. I show you, and I completely endorse the return of the Shah, Javicha, and for freedom of the Iranians, and this terrible disaster of these massacres. The justice can only be done by American and Israeli joint military intervention and a new regime in Tehran. That is very clear for me. Yes, I supported the Iraq war because it was a war of liberation and the end of Arab socialism. The fall of Saddam, who was a genocidal maniac, was very good. And now I support the liberation of Iran because I supported the liberation of Bosnia, the liberation of Kuwait. I will never forget, I was still very young in 91, but I was supporting the liberation of Kuwait. I was a student. I was sitting in my apartment here, and I was waiting for the moment the Americans striking and liberating Kuwait. A big mistake was that the Pisas have not have stopped George Bush to liberate Iraq back then. He was already on the way. They could have gone to Baghdad, and that would have been the right decision. But the king of Saudi Arabia stopped him, blah, blah, blah. And then we had to come back, and we liberated Iraq. And it's now a much better country. And I'm proud to have supported the liberation of Kuwait, the liberation of Iraq, the liberation of Bosnia, the liberation of Kosovo, the liberation ultimately of Serbia. It took a revolution to do it, and it's still not completely free. We should have gone to occupy Belgrade. That would have been much better. Shout out Timothy! Guys, you can also support me by subscribing me on X, yeah? Don't forget that. It's useful, 28 subscribers I have already. And that's very nice. And also you can give me some donations on all the platforms there are. I'm everywhere. And I'm, of course, also very, we built a small media organization now with my producer. And so the podcast and Buy Me a Coffee is there. And of course, there is, Kosovo. Big shout out for Kosovo. I will focus very much on Kosovo next week, because of the Independence Day, and I celebrated the Kosovo independence together with my friends from Kosovo. Bravo Kosovo! And yeah, I met Kosovo and Bosnia must be in NATO. The Russian separatists in Ukraine must be militarily defeated and put to a tribunal for shooting down MH17 and for the whole other crimes. And we will put you all to the criminal court if you survive. If you not surrender, you will anyhow die, because our technology is lethal. Our Ukrainian soldiers are very experienced now after 4 years of war, and we will give them all the money, all the weapons and all the political support they need. And you will be obliterated. If you're a Russian soldier in Ukraine or in Crimea, you better run very fast, because our drones will get you and you will die. Surrender, Russian soldier. Surrender, surrender unconditionally, and you will survive. Or you face certain destruction by our technology. Have you seen how this Fedorov did it with Musk and the capital markets, disciplined Musk, to disable the Russian Starlink? This is just the beginning. Justice will come, and we will win. And our enemies will all be defeated. And you don't believe me? Now let's focus on the Iranians here. Javicha! Javicha! This means long live the king and long live freedom. Yes. This is now in Farsi, a language I don't speak. But yeah, the Israeli flags, you know, they want to show the solidarity between Israel and Iran, new Iran, the free Iran, and that's why they always have these joint videos, and they say that the new Iran will be peaceful. It will no longer be the arch enemy of Israel, but it will be a friend. That's why the Israeli flags are here, and we all stand with free Iran, and this free Iran will be our friend. It's the Tehran of the mullahs, which is our enemy. Ex-Russia, I hope this year. Epstein is dead, and he may burn in hell. He's very evil, and he is very much MAGA and a European socialist. I'm really very happy. My name is not in Epstein. And I'm happy that no serious center-right-wing politician was implicated. It's the socialists and our enemies from MAGA which are implicated. The Norwegian socialists, the Slovak socialists, we have seen already. Big friends, the people who hate Europe, they are supported by Epstein. Hello Albania! Thanks a lot. And so we have all the flags here at this wonderful moment where we stand here united. And if now the liberation will come, I will never forgive Trump. Let's make it very clear. I will always be against him. But he can do something useful with the power he has, which the American people has given him, with the backing of Putin and all these pedos. But nevertheless, he has the power now. If he strikes Iran now, that's at least something he has done useful in his 2 terms of president, and it might save him from impeachment and from a certain defeat and eternal shame, which is coming if he continues the year 2026 in such a disaster as he does. I counted 6 scandals. This Tulsi Gabbard under Sama blocking this Russian connection, which was the NSA has reported. It's absolutely a crime. Then you have the ICE scandal, shooting 2 white innocent bystanders, activists like me. This is very un-American, I would say, and it's very devastating. And of course, this racist scandal with Obama. So how bad can it still go for Trump? And Epstein, he is very much involved. I've seen all these videos and photos. I tried to get them out of my head because they are so evil. But this is Trump. Trump is like that. And he will have to pay the price in hell. But he can also do something useful still. And I'm obsessed with the Albanians now, but 11 years I lived in Albanian lands, in Albania and Kosovo, and they always treated me nicely. That I like. Now we are here. Grüß Gott, hello. Sehr gut. Some recognize me from social media and say hello.
برای ایران و برای خونهایی که رفته امروز این مهم است. هر شعاری که من میدم با انرژی تکرار میکنیم. تو مسیر هم طبیعتاً شعارهای آلمانی و انگلیسی داده میشه چون ما میخوایم اونجا در واقع به اینها بگیم که چه خواسته هایی داریم.
I don't speak Farsi anyhow. It's not my language skills. I've learned Albanian and I'm... Oh no, they're shouting. Yes. You hear it? This is for the Shah. This is the thing. So, here I repeat, yeah, we have freedom for Iran, and this is the moment where we can liberate Ukraine, because it's one war. It's one war and it's one enemy, and it's the Russian-Iranian enemy, the axis of evil, endorsed of course financially and technology-wise by China and North Korea, and there's others who are part of that. And of course, with difficult ways, yeah, I understand they have lost Syria to some extent. I understand the logic. Venezuela half free, and now of course if Iran is broken out of this decisive, because Iran is the hub, the spine of the evil, and it's absolutely an enemy. Under Khomeini, I was, in this big debate when I called Iran the enemy, but Iran as it is today is obviously an enemy state, and it must be, of course, attacked. It must be stopped with its aggression against its own people, against the people from Lebanon, Israel, the Houthis, and all this axis of evil they have been already doing, and we must defeat them. Yeah, some Albanian comments. Yeah, if you look at my YouTube page, you find hundreds of videos of my travels through Albania, hundreds. If you want, also for Kosovo, for Bosnia, I've spent many years traveling through the Balkans, working there, and also for Ukraine. All my activities are well documented in 3,500 videos online, which I have. But my YouTube channel needs a little bit of more subscribers. It would be nice if you follow it. Günther Fellinger podcast. It's the same here, like here on TikTok. You can follow it. And you hear? Death to Khomeini. And I hear Farsi. Down with Khomeini and up with the Shah. It's for me so wonderful, because my whole life I lived in the shadow of the Soviet Union and of Russia and this evil empire of Iran under Khomeini, and I'm so happy that now they are both ending, because you will see with the end of Iran, the end of Russia, which I predicted so many times. You see hundreds of my tweets and videos. Albania, yeah, there are a lot of Albanians here, but it's not Albania the topic, it's just my... Hi guys, to Albania, I love you. Albania is a fantastic country. It's Montenegro and Albania is competing for my favorite countries. And Kosovo, of course, is my best political country. Of course, life is also very nice there. And I like it. Best regards also Macedonia, my dear Macedonia. And Israel. Yes, I love it, yeah. Russia is winning in Ukraine. Are you nuts? Are you not? You will be obliterated, it's called. Defeated. Kaput. Putin kaput. You will see. Yeah, Edi Rama should resign, yeah, but he is not listening to me. And he does good foreign policy now with pro-Ukraine, and that saves him makes him a lot of friends. But I think for change in Albania, yes, absolutely, I'm for change in Albania. That's absolutely necessary. Yes. Next Hoist for 4 stream will come, guys, and we will keep you posted. But we are now looking for a new office, and I cannot shout so much at home, and then it's not so funny because my wife doesn't think it's good for the neighbors if I shout so much. Yeah. King Reza Pahlavi, King Reza Pahlavi, Chavicha! Territorial integrity for Iran if Iran is a federal country. Let's put it like this, okay, guys? I hope nobody heckles me again. But I want the Kurds to be free. I want the Baluch to be free. I want the Turkmens to be free and the Azeris to be free and the Ahwas Arabs in the south as well. They must be living on the same freedom level like all Iranians. That's okay for me if it's a federal Iran like now Iraq. Did you see me ever say, did you ever see me say ex-Iraq? No, because Iraq works now and it's a federal state. And in Erbil they have freedom and prosperity and security. Fine for me. I say the same for Iran is possible. Let's do it and let's all go into revolutionary mode and make sure Khamenei is finished and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard will flee to Russia or will be destroyed by our missiles and rockets, and the tomahawks of justice will destroy the evil empire and their defenders. Yes, what we have here as well. Free Iran, Reza Pahlavi. We want Pahlavi. Yes, do you support Kosovo? Well, what do you think? I was 20 years support of Kosovo, 30 years support of Kosovo. You know, I supported Kosovo in the 90s, and I will always support Kosovo. And I called for the recognitions of Kosovo. I worked for Ukraine recognition and for so many other missing recognitions for Bosnia to recognize Kosovo. And all. Chavicha! Chavicha! You hear? Very good. Chavicha! Yes, I can go a little bit and show you some of our monuments, because you got the message already, Chavicha, I think. You know, the next time who shouts here, drops Kosovo is Serbia, I will start to call for bombing Belgrade again. You can be sure. So get out of my timeline, because when we are already in the bombing, why not to drop some on Belgrade? Because and your incompetent MAGA friends who guide you like tourists through the White House, they will not help you. They will not help you. Dodiks of the world. Be sure about it. Your show in Washington, I will keep that running. You buy your influence, and some incompetent, corrupt people believe it. I can use the time, I think, quite useful here to campaign for Austria joining NATO, because as the newly founded Austrian Committee for NATO Enlargement, and you know, if you are fact-checking website, you can always say, you know, the Croatian fact-checkers went through me and they said I'm the only member of the Austrian Committee and this has nothing to do, and the Austrian institutions have basically made it very clear. This is now, don't go too close to the police. This is the Austrian President's office, and I call for Austria to join NATO. This is the only reasonable way forward. This is how we should do it, and this is our mission. This is my mission, and I'm insofar official as we have a website now, we have an association registered, and we have activities. And if you want to be a member, you can join. As I was dancing in the street in Tirana in 2009, I was living there, and when they joined NATO. And I will also be in Kiev. And I will celebrate here at these holy squares of Austria. I will celebrate when we join NATO. And it was my effort then, and Putin's effort, because the Austrians only react under pressure. But we will join NATO, be sure about it. And also will Ukraine be in NATO, Bosnia will be in NATO, Kosovo will be in NATO, and all European Union will be in NATO. And we will be strong again. And we will purge the MAGAs, we will purge the socialists and the Putinists, and we will enlarge NATO and enlarge the European Union. You be sure about it, and this is the future we are working on. This is what we will achieve, and it will be very, very good future ahead once we have defeated the Iranian mullahs and their supporters, which the Israelis have already done very successfully with Hezbollah, the Houthis, the Hamas. And be sure one thing, who was behind the 7th of October? I said it from the beginning, that this was a typical kind of distraction tactic of Putin when he was in troubles in Ukraine. He has. No, they're starting with English.
Knowing full well what they're going up against, and the fact that they might not come back home alive.
Putin will die, I tell you here, and he has deserved it. He has given the orders for September, maybe even for September 11, I think so actually, but that I cannot prove. But for the October thing in Israel, they would never have dared to do that, the Hamas, if they hadn't the backing from Tehran and Moscow. You be sure. Now they went too far and they will pay the price.
But the terrorist regime of the Islamic Republic didn't just murder up to 100,000 of our brave compatriots.
Up to 100,000 dead in Iran.
No.
Putin did it.
Seeing their photos,
Yes.
listening to the last
Putin is
words
behind
to their
Hamas.
families, watching the last moments on the streets before they were murdered.
I will just
And seeing their
listen to that one a bit.
afterwards. That has killed every single one of us out here 100,000 times over. But the death and sacrifice will not be in vain. We will not allow it.
Hello.
As long as there is one of us left standing and breathing,
Some people say hello to me. They
we will
know
make sure
from my activity
that these
here.
bloodthirsty murderers paying for all the crimes against humanity they've committed. And all
The
the
bloodthirsty
pain
murderer
and misery
must
that
go.
they've caused. We will make sure of that. And
Evidence.
that is our eternal promise to you.
Go in the Epstein files if you look
The Lion
evidence.
and Sun Revolution will not stop. We, the people of Iran, will not stop until we take
Now the
our
speeches
country
have
back
started.
from this evil incarnate. We complete the task and realize the dream that hundreds of thousands of us lost their lives for. We, the people of Iran, will crush the terrorist regime of the Islamic Republic once and for
These
all.
are the Iranians themselves calling for a change, for the end of the Ayatollah regime, for the military intervention which we need, and it will come.
No matter how
It's no
long it
longer
will
me
take,
alone
and
calling
no
for
matter
military
the cost.
intervention or against
Our
Iran.
light will
It's the
overcome
Iranians
their darkness.
themselves.
Iran will be free.
Iran will be free. You heard it? Bloodthirsty tyrants.
For the past 5 decades.
They have infested Iran, he says.
The international help, however, saves many lives. Lives of people who didn't get to have a decent life under the terrorist regime of the Islamic Republic.
People
and are
will
now
be free.
closer than ever to get to have a proper life in a
Freedom.
free country.
Will win.
Remember, a free Iran will be one of the most important allies of the free world.
The free Iran
So
will be
stand
one
with
of the
Iran
most
and stand
important
with their
allies
enemy.
of the free world. So
We
let's help
will
Iran,
remember
Iranians.
our friends and foes in our darkest and hours.
I will remind them.
Hoyade! 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 Jobi!
Javid Shah. Javid Shah. Bravo. Yes, some people don't believe it, but it's ultimately Putin who is behind October the 7th, yeah, I say. And I always accuse him for that, and I think it's very... elections, I should refrain from making statements about them, but I think it's a region of Bosnia which is like Bavaria. And from Switzerland. Bravo Switzerland, join NATO.
شاه میاد به خونه شاه میاد به خونه ما ملت کبیریم
Get out of my timeline.
ما ملت کبیریم ما ملت کبیریم
Albania, I simply love Albania. It's wonderful.
ما ملت کبیریم
The royal family, yes, very good.
بر نکبت
Love Ukraine. Albania will join the European Union 2029, and so will be Montenegro and also Macedonia. Guys, you can write what you want, but I'm not in the Epstein file. And I don't care if Bill Clinton is or not. Trump is. That's most important. Yeah, Montenegro, Czernogora, yes. Australia, please sign the agreement with the EU.
Democracy for Iran!
Democracy for Iran!
Democracy for Iran!
Democracy for Iran!
Human rights for Iran!
Human rights for Iran!
Territorial integrity for Iran!
Territorial integrity if Iran is a federal state!
Hayande! Hayande!
Freedom for all people! Javid Shah! Javid Shah! And freedom for all the people inside.
Diese Woche ist wieder Herrn Andreas Mining bei uns.
This is the member of parliament.
Das Wort an Herrn Mining.
Now he is coming. I will show you directly. I will put him live.
An die Organisatoren.
Sehr gut.
Vielen Dank
Andreas is speaking.
an Sie alle, dass Sie heute wieder dabei sind. An so einem wichtigen,
Okay, he's speaking in German. He says, thank you very much for the audience to come.
schweren Herzen. Wir können uns gar nicht vorstellen, wie viele Menschen die Verwandte, die Familie haben, die getötet wurden, die jetzt eingesperrt sind, die schwer verwundet worden sind. Wir sind solidarisch mit all diesen Menschen im Iran. Dieses Zeichen der Solidarität ist so ungemein wichtig, weil wir jetzt genau an der Seite des iranischen Volkes stehen müssen. Diese furchtbaren Nachrichten, wo wir letzte Woche schon geglaubt haben, dass es nicht schlimmer kommen kann, wurden leider nochmal getoppt. Über 90.000 Tote sind jetzt im Raum. Über 300.000 Verletzte, viele zigtausend Menschen, die inhaftiert worden sind, viele, die hingerichtet worden sind in den Krankenhäusern, in den Spitälern, wo sie Zuflucht gesucht haben mit ihren Verletzungen und auf das Brutalste hingerichtet worden ist. Menschen, die jetzt aus der Haft freigelassen worden sind vor wenigen Tagen und leider zu Hause in den Armen ihrer Familie und ihren Liebsten gestorben sind. Vergiftet durch Kalium. Wer macht so etwas? Dieses Regime ist am Ende. Dieses Regime hat jede Legitimität verloren. Dieses Regime muss zu einem Ende kommen. Und deswegen müssen wir jetzt an der Seite des iranischen Volkes stehen. Dieses islamische Terrorregime hat über 47 Jahre nur Terror und Leid in die ganze Welt exportiert. Anstatt mit dem Geld zu schauen, dass es den Leuten im Iran besser geht, hat man Geld für Waffen, für Proxys überall in der Welt finanziert, um noch mehr Leid zu machen und Menschen verschwinden zu lassen, um Geiseln zu nehmen, um Geiseldiplomatie zu machen. Für das ist das islamische Terrorregime heute bekannt geworden. Menschen zu töten, gegen das eigene Volk loszugehen. Und welches Regime macht das? Aus dem Ausland die Feinde des iranischen Volkes zu holen. Irakische Milizen, Hisbollah, Hamas und viele andere, um gegen das eigene Volk vorzugehen und mit schweren Waffen auf friedliche, unbewaffnete Menschen, die für Freiheit demonstrieren und sogar mit den Kindern auf der Straße gehen, mit Maschinengewehren zu schießen und die Menschen einfach abschlachten. Nieder mit diesem islamischen Regime, nieder mit der Islamischen Republik.
This is the Austrian member of parliament who is leading. This is the Austrian member of the regime.
Thank you.
Tut mir leid, Sie sind hier unerwünscht.
Okay, danke.
Vielen Dank. Ja? Dankeschön.
Sehr gut. Hallo Herr Fellner. Grüß Gott, hallo. Wie geht's euch? Sehr gut.
Reza Pahlavi ist der Name, der in allen 31
So,
Provinzen
that's the situation.
Überall hört man ihn. Überall vereint er dieses
And this was Andreas Minich speaking very clearly and very loud.
Sie glauben, dass Reza Pahlavi dieses Land vereinen kann.
And that was good.
Und in 100 Tagen
I think you got the message and they are supporting.
Freien Land machen kann. Mit freien demokratischen Wahlen.
They are supporting. He's calling now for free and fair elections.
Kommen wir, wer kann, nächsten Samstag nach München. München um 14 Uhr findet eine der größten Demonstrationen statt.
And he is calling for Munich next weekend.
And
And he is inviting everybody to go to Munich next Saturday to when Reza Pahlavi will be there at the Munich Security Conference.
Den Politikern auf der ganzen Welt, dass es uns ernst ist. Dass es wirklich dieser Mensch ist, der alles...
Yeah guys, this is the situation here and I will go to I think I will leave this now.
Helfen Sie den Menschen im Iran. Warten Sie nicht länger.
Guys, my Saturday morning.
Regime change now.
And Andreas is calling for regime change now. This is now the concluding statement. And I'm absolutely endorsing that. I'm absolutely endorsing that. Regime change now. And I could not agree more with defeating our enemy, Iran. Iran is the enemy, not all people from the Iranian opposition like me, because I say that always again. Iran is our enemy and it must be defeated militarily. There's no other way. It would be nice if we could wait for democratic changes. But as Khamenei himself has confirmed, the sedition, as he calls it on his X account, you can see, was suppressed militarily by up to 90,000 people, Andreas Minich has said now. And now we will see how this is happening. Guys, if freedom will win, I'm convinced. But we have seen in history it could take a long time. If I would have lived already at that time in 56 or in 68 where I was born, I would have supported the Czechoslovak and Hungarian people for their drive for freedom, or the Polish people. But at that time there was no American readiness to confront the Soviet occupation of Eastern Europe. And it's the internal shame of America. So you can never rely on America fully. It must be our own strength to be ready to defend ourselves. But once America then enters the First World War, the Second World War, the Cold War, they were a reliable partner. It took a long time as well until they came into the Kosovo War, into the Bosnian War. Clinton was waiting 3 years in Bosnia and 2 years in Kosovo. But when they came, when the enormous firepower was able to strike the enemies and destroy them, then victory was coming. And what shall we learn? To be close to the Americans? They are our allies. But we need also to arm and to have the weapons and power projections to be able to implement our own global agenda and to free people, also without America. And this is what we need to do now. When the Americans strike in Iran, we the Europeans must liberate Crimea and Ukraine. This is the universal global war, world war, if you want to call it, between the evil side and the good side, between the dark side and the bright side. We are, as Europeans, the good side, the bright side. We are the ones who shall win here. But of course, the evil forces try to stop American intervention. And of course, we must work very hard together for American intervention. And this is what we need to do. Other questions? I can stay a little bit online. It's not so cold. Outdoor podcasting is possible. And I'm ready now. Zoran Djindjic I met twice in my life, or 3 times. I have to 98 as a mayor in Belgrade, and then 2002, 2003 I couldn't meet him anymore because they killed him. And for sure Putin has killed him. I have a video online. You can go where at the grave of Zoran Djindjic. I was in Belgrade at his grave and I accused Putin of killing him. And this is the situation. No, I'm not in the Epstein file. And Putin definitely is behind most of these things. And he has also killed the Vladisław it was not called Chernohorski. Now what is this Ukrainian opposition leader on the 25th of March? He has killed him as well. Oh, he has organized this killing. This is how they do it. You can even ask and read the Ceausescu biography. He was desperately afraid all the time to be killed by the Soviets because that's simply what they do. And I'm not delusional. Yeah. Yes. Of course, you know, it's undermining the West that we have these issues and we have to clean it up. I call for a complete purge of the system and I'm absolutely ready for that. Sieh das Puzzle auf deinem Platz, what's that? They are trying to stop me here. Very good, I'm back on. No thanks. You know guys, it's Sunday and I will probably go home, but I want to make it very clear what I have to do and what you can do to support me and all these issues. Yeah, it's very important. Yeah, if you can follow me on X, on Facebook, I'm also on Facebook, on Substack, on Patreon. You can send me donations if you want, or also on X and buy me a coffee. And you can also be a member of the NATO Enlargement Committee if you want. But in general, what is important, support the ideas of the free world and spread the ideas that we are gonna win. We are not in a crisis, and if the crisis is there, it's not because we are in a crisis, because Putin is trying to put us in a crisis. And that's now well documented with the Epstein files, how they have worked this Putin pedo network and all these extremists. Yeah, they have been via Bannon and via all these MAGAs and the European socialists. They have worked against us systematically in the last 20 years, 25 years since Putin is in power, and he has consolidated the power and he has gone fully rogue, and that's the way they have done it. And I accuse him again of killing Djindjic and of killing the Ukrainian opposition leader. He has killed a lot of people. And Joe Biden always said it like this, that Putin is a killer, and that's absolutely the case. And he is also behind October the 7th, and you can be absolutely sure that this is the case, yeah, because it's the same pattern, you know, when you go back in history and then you see that in Budapest they had the crisis with the Hungarians revolution, and then suddenly the Suez crisis is because he has encouraged the Egyptian leader to nationalize the Suez Canal. Not a coincidence, it was the same year, and absolutely the situation, yeah. And then you see very clearly the moment Russia, Soviet Union has a problem in Eastern Europe, they start the Middle East war that you can see in 73, in the Yom Kippur War, that you can see with the Six-Day War, that you can see with all these global crises, because the world is then always distracted in the Middle East. It's more important than Eastern Europe for the Americans, and that's how they are working in Russia. And it's very logical, and it's exactly how they do it. And now you just see a small glimpse of all these Russian operations with the Epstein files, but much more will come out, and I call for full transparency, because it will come. Everything will be out in the open, and once Russia is liberated, the archives will be open, and there will be clarity on all these things. Yeah. Yes, now with the Ukrainians and the end of the Soviet Union, a lot of the things are open. There's a lot of former Secret Service agents who are talking openly, but you know, we in the West don't want to know that. We don't want to believe it. I also have difficulties to believe how deep this penetration is actually, and how deep this involvement. You know, of course he didn't invent Epstein. Epstein was a crook and a criminal before already, yeah? But then he adopted him, and that's how they do it. They see the weak points and the weak corruption networks, the strong corruption networks in the West, and then the Russians adopt them and put money into this rotten core of the West, and that's how it works. Yeah? Good. I think I did my thing here. I promised to come. I'm here to support, but I think I can go home. Guys, enough. 1 hour of live streaming. I hope my producer Nicole is happy with me. Du wirst von Russland noch hören. You know, this is exactly how they do it. Now in the text I can still continue a bit. And you know, they are threatening your family, and they are basically intimidating if they cannot buy you. This is how the Russians principally work. Yeah? If they cannot buy you or build some kind of compliance system, which they do with the socialists on some ideological basis, or with the extreme rights, because they hate Europe as well, so it's ideologically. If that doesn't work, they buy you. Or if that doesn't work, they threaten you. And if that doesn't work, they remove you physically. And this is how the Russians always work. Yeah? And this is their escalation of control. And, you know, they have sent me a lot of threats already. Yeah, that's how they do it. But I'm not intimidated, because this is not how it works anymore. We are free people. Free people shall not live in fear. And fear is wrong. We must be strong, as we are billions of free people, and the Russian brutal networks and the heirs of Lenin are just a few. But they have a lot of control, because it was the most tragic accident of human history was, of course, the First World War, already started by Russia, mostly. I have explained that many times already here, but if you're interested, I can explain again. It was, of course, the Russians and their control for the Turkish Straits, and their scheming together with the British in Iran, by the way, over 1907, after their defeat by the Japanese, which has led to this crisis. And yeah, this is the First World War. And then, of course, this was a big mistake to have this tragic war. And then the Germans facilitated the who was already a known maniac and a crazy toxic person towards Russia. And so he took, and it was his total brutality and the coincidence of many other decisions which led to him taking power. And then the most brutal of the most brutal forces good wind power in the biggest empire of the world, the Russian Empire. And that's the biggest tragedy of mankind. And still today we are hurted by this October Revolution. Actually, it was not in October, but it was actually in January 1918 when Lenin, he basically surrounded the parliament. There was still parliament and they were hoping to have normality, but there was a lot of opposition and he simply imprisoned them. And he was the smaller party, and the social revolutionaries, they were all, many of them killed. And this is how he did it. It was a military coup in 1918. And so the history of the world has allowed the biggest empire of the world, the Russian Empire, to be run by the most brutal and most terrible force. They actually wanted to take over, they took over Bavaria then and Hungary. They wanted to take the power in Austria as well and in Germany, but this was not allowed by the Austrian Social Democrats. That was very good. Yes, I'm here in the Austrian Parliament. Maybe some final call to call for Austria joining NATO, and that's of course my main campaign, and I'm very happy to promote Austrian tourism. Yes, I have, how many people are following? 5? No, I have already 24,000 likes. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, it's actually nice. Yeah, and some, how many people, I cannot really see that, but yeah, very good. Quite a lot of people watching. Thanks a lot for this. Yeah, I will still go home and eat lunch and leave the Iranians and for the victory. And I'm totally endorsing Chavicha, but I'm calling for freedom for all people. That's what I'm doing. Okay guys, thanks a lot for watching this Sunday morning, spending some time with me, and please subscribe me on all possible networks, and thanks a lot. Bye.